Okay.
All right. We're
coming back from a
I wish I could
weekend.
remember what movie that was.
It'll always be Days and
It's funny
Confused.
since you told me that. Whenever somebody says it, I can only think of Jim Morrison.
And that's where he got it from. That's
when
what it was.
when he did it, I listened to it, and he didn't say just 3 times like McConaughey.
No, he said it differently.
It was like, all right.
And then he turned it into a whole Texas fucking, all
Yeah.
right.
It's funny because when I was younger, I liked the Doors, but I didn't really appreciate the Doors.
Yeah.
And now, like...
You're in
Remember when I was on the psychedelics and I was like, Jim Morrison's God. I wanna F him and kill him at the same time. And then Sydney comes in and I was saying that about Lexi too. I'm like, I want to fuck her and kill her. And
It's about life. It's about life.
You're like, it's metaphorical.
Yeah. That was it.
Do you think she really took that literally?
If she took it literally, she fucking processed it, took it in, and
How could you,
stayed
it's just
pretty
funny.
calm.
I just wonder how she could think I actually...
It needed some explaining. It cleared it up once we said what it was all about.
Yeah.
But even though she took it at face value at first, she took it in and like...
Shoot, I didn't put on shoes. Oh, well.
It's one of those podcasts.
No, it's funny, though, that you were like, no, he's not serious.
I just had to make sure she was cool, you know?
You knew what I was talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. But I was there from the beginning
Remember
of the
when
trip.
I was like, Jim Morrison died at 27 because he had it all figured out. He's God.
It was tough. It took a whole psychedelic journey for you to get to.
It was a lot on that journey.
Intense, 25 grams, we'll call it. It was
Jeez. Yeah, oh, man.
insane. What do you call that? People have a...
Nobody does 25. There's this one guy, he does like 50. There's a few people that do that. And
Heroic? Is that what it is?
Heroic's like 5.
Is that what it is? Or is there
Yeah,
one that you
heroic.
know
I think
that's above
heroic is what people call the 5 for sure.
that? That's the top one that has a name. Heroic.
Yeah, that's what most people would max out at. Yeah, for sure.
You quadrupled it. And then another 5 on top of that.
25.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
That was heavy. I mean, once in a lifetime, right?
Yeah.
You think you'd ever want
I think I
to...
would do 50 in a very controlled setting.
50 grams, you'd fucking wind up in a mental institution.
I think in a very... You know what the biggest problem was that day? I didn't time it.
Yeah.
That was... I always time if
I
I
mean,
do those things.
You mean timing
Like, I
it?
know when I start, so I know the cycle exactly how it processes in my body. And because I took a follow-up and I didn't know what time it was, I didn't know when it was ending. So I felt like it was going to go on forever. That was the terrifying part.
Yeah.
Because it was fine up until I was like, whoa.
Looking back on it, it was definitely within 90 minutes that you took the initial, whatever it was, 3-4 gram dose, and then came back. And
I mean, it did it exactly on cycle. The time, afterward I thought about the time, it did exactly like I would have expected. So if I'd had a watch, it would have been fine. I mean, I shouldn't say it would be fine, but you know.
What could be more controlled than your own place? I guess you'd have to be
when
out.
we left the house is when I started to get freaky.
More freaky.
No, when I started to get terrified.
But when we left the house is when you, on the outside, mellowed out. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, really?
On the outside.
Well, that's because I knew people were looking, and I didn't want to come across as crazy on the street. I didn't think most people in the street could handle what I was doing.
But you still had it in you.
I still had it in me for sure. Remember we were walking by the guy, and I'm like, see him? I could beat his ass, or I could hit him right now. He's not even real.
He was... as soon as you said that, he definitely registered it. He was eyes dead ahead. He's like,
don't talk to this crazy guy.
And it fucking blew your girlfriend's mind. She had no fucking clue what she just heard.
Yeah,
it was unbelievable. I think you scared her off mushrooms for sure, brother.
Yeah, for sure. And when I tried to hop out of the car,
I'll take you to Coke real quick. Let me have a Coke.
I want a Coca-Cola. Get out of the car.
Fuck, dude. I mean,
but I listened to you every time.
Yeah.
Every time you said stop, I listened.
Yeah.
And I did what you said.
Yeah. So. I think we have to go out to a place where we're not concerned about the people, being here in the complex.
I think
people
it's
above,
really
below.
good for a place like in Yosemite or something like that. I think that
if you have like a cabin or something at least, so you can
that would be
chill
perfect.
out on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd do that. I would do 50 for sure if I could have a very secluded, very safe place.
What do you want to call that type of dose? The psychosis, psychedelic?
The century dose? I don't know, man. The millennial dose.
Yeah.
It's not something I would do anytime soon.
Call it the Lizard King dose.
That's a good... We don't say that.
25 grams. I don't think anybody else will do it, though.
That was insane.
It was crazy. Unbelievable. But she was here. Your girlfriend was here. She fucking rode along. Then she got some devastating news. But before that, she held
That
on.
was where it also got freaky, too, because now I have to support her while I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
I think considering I held it together pretty well, considering I was terrified.
Yeah.
I might have been a little less than controlled like I normally would be.
Yeah.
But I think considering I knew that I didn't want to freak her out because her mom had just died. And now we're sitting in I sit in the car with her, and I hear her having this story, and I'm freaking out. And I'm like, I don't make her worse off, and this is all I'm thinking.
But you know what? You don't remember, but as soon as she said, "Oh my God, my mom just died," from the back seat, we were right in the front. Not a minute after she says that, you turn to me and you say, "Dude, this dose is incredible. I'm fucking tripping balls."
Did I really?
You immediately went back to whatever fucking was going on with your fucking psychedelic shit.
Man.
I don't think she clocked it because she was off thinking about her own thing.
Yeah.
But immediately when she brought it up, you went back to, "I'm tripping."
Maybe it must have taken me a few minutes to actually.
It was when we got back to my place. We went out to get some water for all of us, and that's when I told you, like, this is your fucking beacon of light right here. You know, this is what you grab onto.
Yeah.
You got to be there for her, supportive, and that fucking.
That did it. That was what you did. See, you always know what to say in those situations because that's why you're the shaman. I actually thought about that the whole time. Yeah. That I was terrified. I was thinking, I got to hold it together for her. I got to hold it together for her. And I was also, I was convinced I was stuck in there forever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, this was a mistake. Because I was convinced I was going to be in the psychedelic world forever. And that was going to be just terrifying the whole life. But at the same time, I was like, well, this is what you did. You're done. You got to live with it. You're just going to have to figure it out.
Yeah.
So I didn't freak out, but I was like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah.
And then it started winding down and it got less and less. I mean, I didn't freak out. I wouldn't call it a bad trip. I would say it kicked me in the ass, though, for sure. But the front of it taught me so much. The front of it changed my life. And all of it changed my life, but the front of it.
You mean when we're out running around?
If I'm walking down the street now, and I say hey, and a girl ignores me, my immediate reaction is, "How dare you ignore me? Do you know who I am?" This is I actually have that value instilled in me now that since I did that, because I felt like God during that. I felt like how. So I figured out. Do you remember I said this after? I understand why God in every religion is so pissed off all the time, because he's sitting there, he's perfect, and he's telling you, "Don't do this," and the person is looking right at God, knows it's God, and goes and does it anyway. So God is like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" So this is why God's so mad all the time.
Yeah. If that happens, though, if you're walking down the road and you greet somebody and they don't say anything back, you just walk forward, right? You think
I don't.
But you can't say anything, because if you say anything,
then I'm giving them power.
Exactly.
It's sort of like
you can't.
What I say about don't look at girls you're not going to either talk to or you're going to be with, because you're just giving away your power. You know, guys that gawk and they just look.
Yeah.
It's like you're basically telling that
you're
person.
Feeding them.
Well, it's basically telling you're better than me because I got to stare at you, type of thing.
Yeah.
It's different if you're scanning around the room and you meet somebody's eyes and you're you flirt a little bit. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
But just I don't know. That leads into that argument discussion. So Sydney, we went out on Sunday, and so the plan was she was going to meet her sister. Her younger sister was going to be in town. Her older sister lives near her. And they're all going to meet for their mother's birthday.
Okay.
And because her mother passed.
Yeah.
And so she had told me the whole week. She said, "Okay, I'm going to come Saturday, and I'm going to leave Sunday early because my kids were coming Sunday for Father's Day. And then I've got to be here at 5, right?" So Saturday we ride out to a winery down on Summit Road. And on the way down, and even the day before, she got some text messages from her sister. It's like, "Make sure you're not late. Be there at 5. Well, Sydney got a message on Saturday. "All right, make sure you're not late. We're going to be here at 5. But she didn't read Saturday. She messed up the day. It was Saturday that her sisters had arranged, not Sunday.
Wow.
And so at first, I just realized I don't have a headset on. Am I sounding okay?
Yeah, pop it on. You might want to fix it around a little.
Okay. So at first she, her sisters, so Sydney is not the most reliable with her sisters. She's probably flaked a lot. But this time she didn't. This time she really intended. I was with her. I know she intended to get there. She's like, "I got to be there. I got to," she had it planned out. She was definitely going to be there.
So she ended up getting a message 5 on Saturday.
She got a message at 6, "Where are you?" Or whatever, 5:30. We're at the winery still. And she's like, "Oh my God, they want to meet today?" She said, "How do I know that? It was supposed to be Sunday." So she starts going through her messages. And it turned out it was Saturday, and it said it in the message.
So she was just thinking her mom's birthday. Her mom's birthday was on Sunday.
I still feel like mom's birthday's on Father's Day, which is
Sunday. So that's what she was expecting.
Yeah. So I feel like even though she was probably the primary culprit, probably her sisters miscommunicated too.
Well, right? two out of three people got it right. So you got to assume that the third person let it slip a little bit.
Yeah, but in any situation, okay, here's the other thing. If you're dealing with somebody who is always missing, you're choosing to be in a relationship with that person.
That's true.
So you're putting yourself in that predicament too. It is their fault still.
Yeah.
But you have to take some responsibility.
Because you know the situation.
Because you know
who you're dealing with.
You know who you're dealing with, right? It's like when you get married, and I said, like, if you get married, you're marrying the divorce too. You're marrying the in-laws. You're marrying the problems. You're choosing to be with that person. So whenever you complain about them, you did make a decision at some level to be with them.
Takes two to tango, and you hopped in there.
I think that filter, if I say peas, it stops
I
the
hear
pump
pop
for
too.
peas. So I'm going to try to like tone down the peas. So her sisters were really rude to her. They
through phone. They called her on the phone.
They called her. I mean, they called her some bad names, right? No, they texted it. And I told Sydney, I said, don't respond back. And she said, and I could tell they were pushing her buttons that they knew how to push. I said, don't respond back. You don't need to respond back. You didn't mean to mess up. You messed up. So I was telling her what to write. And I said something to the effect of, look, say this. Say, I read it wrong. It's my mistake. I would still like, and they were just being really assholes to her. They were, like I wouldn't have even responded, if somebody had been like that to me. But I think they beat up on her. Her sisters gang up on her a lot, and it's really emotional attacks. There's no logic to the attacks whatsoever, which sort of leads me into that argument discussion. And I realized when I told her what to say, I really know how to argue. And she even got frustrated because I said something to that effect, and she knows I know how to argue because I won't let her derail the conversation when I argue. And I realize people that have no real agenda or just want to win, they try to derail the conversation.
Right.
So I told her, just say, look, I messed up. I'd still love to see you before you go. If you want to see me, let me know. If not, I understand. Something to that effect. And then, so her sister didn't respond. I can't remember. As I was telling her what to write it, they were sending her mean texts. And I said, don't respond to those. Don't respond to those. Don't respond to those. Just type what I say and send it. So she ended up doing that. And then her other sister, that was her little sister. Her other sister, they're in the same room, so they're reading each other's phones. Says, and she has a little niece, Blair, who brought flowers for Sydney, loves Sydney. She's like, Blair's disappointed. I could tell they were just trying to find another emotional avenue to attack her.
Right.
And I said, don't respond to that. That's not the issue. I said, you've established it, is you want to know if they want you to come.
Yeah.
So they responded in some negative way. And I said, stop, don't respond. Just reiterate what you said before. I'd love to see you. If you want to see me, that's great. And something to like, but we're not going to talk about this. Like, this issue's dead. Like, it was my fault. And now it's dead. And I realized, like, you can kill an issue really easy because I knew if she went, they were going to just attack her on it. So I said, you need to establish before you would go, this issue is done. We are not discussing it. And I said, they're going to win because you did wrong. And they're going to emotionally attack you and make you feel like shit. And I said, you have to be willing to, when you show up, as soon as they start, just frickin' leave. Take your attention away. I said, if you reward bad behavior with attention, it's going to continue to do it. Mm-hmm. And if you fight with them, you're going to lose because there's two of them. You were wrong. They're just, just going to use emotional attacks. And it made me realize in most of the arguments I've been in with like my wife or before I sort of understood more about human dynamics and how to deal with people, I would try to fight on those points that they would bring up, or find what they did wrong. And in the last few years, I just started taking responsibility when I screw up and calling it out and making sure what we're talking about stays on subject because people try to derail you, and it works amazingly. And a lot of times if you just own your part, it defuses the whole conversation anyway.
Right.
You don't even. There was like an argument with some people in another group I'm in. And I said, just own your part. Whatever they do isn't relevant. I mean, I'm not saying to be a wimp and let people walk on you. I'm just saying own what you did, learn from it, tell them you own it. Unless it's somebody pushing you really hard, it's just an argument. Own what you messed up on, and then if they don't own it, well, they don't own it. That's their problem. I mean, just after 48 years, it's a better way to go when it comes to arguing. It'll make you feel better too.
Yeah, I bet.
And I sort of realized, like, I really know how to write out these arguments. I should do some kind of like argument training, or I should, if have some kind of service. If guys are like in an argument with their girl, like send it to me and I'll tell them exactly what to say.
Complete total life coach package.
Yeah.
So when you were arguing on her behalf, it was clicking with her.
It took a while. I had to like pound it in, like do not respond, because they kept texting as she was texting, and she kept reading it. I said, stop reading what they're saying. What they're saying is irrelevant.
Yeah.
All they're doing is attacking emotionally. It's irrelevant statements of they're frustrated, And I said, and now they're using Blair. And I said, but honestly, if you think about it, you gave them the option. She didn't end up going. They never responded back. You gave them the option, you want to come. If anybody's disappointing Blair, it's them, because they can't put their feelings.
Yeah.
Because they're actually more directly responsible for disappointing that little girl than she is, because she was willing. I brung her back here. She was willing to get there as quick as she could. And that would have fixed the whole Blair issue. So, I mean, I'm not saying you should tell them that, but that's really the underlying truth of the matter is they were actually hurting that little girl's feelings by being assholes.
Yeah.
And not coming down from their high horse and just saying, okay, I want to spend time with my sister.
Yeah. I was going to say, why not bring that up if they're saying that she's hurting that kid, and her pointing out that if it is about hurting that kid, then they're the ones doing even more of a lasting.
Yeah, I know. I think about that. I don't think, first of all, they would understand it.
But it's also it's going in circles, right? Because then you're engaging in something that they're.
That's why it's not worth your time.
That makes sense.
What I did tell her is the next time she sees Blair, what she should say is, "Hey, I'm really sorry I didn't see you. I messed up on this. I told your mom if she wanted to see me, I would come up but she didn't want to see me."
Right.
And that basically, it's a sneaky way of making sure that the little girl knows.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to see you. It isn't really sneaky. It's just. Because she isn't going to get the whole truth.
Yeah.
Blair isn't. But I also said, like, really, what's more important? This little girl got her feelings hurt. So freaking what? Mm-hmm. Like, in the grand scheme of things. I said, your sisters are attacking you. That's a bigger deal than this little girl getting her feeling hurt. Your sisters are being, like, they were really freaking mean. I mean, to the point that if they were my brothers and sisters, I just wouldn't ever talk to them. Mm. Like, I would, I don't even talk to my daughter if she tries to.
Yeah.
Be disrespectful, and she knows. And since I established that with my daughter, our relationship is so much better, and she's respectful. Since I established it, like the thing I do for punishment, or for if you do something that disrespects, is I pull my attention away, because she's 18 now. I don't have to give her attention if she's disrespectful. That's such a powerful thing, because she loves me. She wants to be around me. I'm her dad, and we have a good relationship. But it took me proving that point for her to understand that I would do it, like to be willing to do that. So,
I've had that happen a few times where the girl that I'm with, either gets some news that disappoints her, towards herself, and now she's sort of in a foul mood.
Yeah,
it's a tough thing to dig, because you're also in that hole with her now. She's staying behind in this case.
Yeah, and I was supposed to get roadhead on the way home too.
And that all goes out the window.
No, I wasn't like even concerned.
Of course, but even beyond that, now she's not going out with her sisters. Right. She's got the rest of the evening with you, right? Yeah. But now she's in that mental state.
That I had to pull her out of.
And it's like, what do we do here? How do you go about it?
I think you just listen to the person. Like,
you have to let them get it all out first on their own.
Just don't judge them. Don't try to fix it. I didn't understand that. I don't even know how to describe how I know this now, because it's so much easier for me. And you hear this this statement made a lot, and as a person that hasn't like done a lot of self work, it's hard to understand what it means. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen that video that it's not about the nail? So there's a girl talking to her boyfriend, and she's got a big nail in her head, and she's talking to him about this headache she's got and how much pain it is, right? And mm-hmm. like he's like telling her, "There's a nail in your head," and she's getting mad at him because he's like, "There's a nail in your head," and it's what it's saying is like, just listen to the person, be there for them, don't try to fix their problem, mm-hmm. and you rarely can fix their problem anyway. So there's really not much need. Do I sound like clear enough?
Yeah, you sound good. Yeah, you're right. Because once you hear them out, they feel more connected to you,
and not judging them, and not trying to fix it. I don't know how to. I mean, you know how to do it. I know how to do it. It's hard to describe.
Well, it's hard not to get stuck in the sort of mindset of like, I need to do something.
Well, guys love to fix.
So
Yeah.
So it's a little counterintuitive.
Do you usually listen? Are you able to listen pretty well with like?
I can listen. I can listen, but I've shifted a lot of this pressure towards myself.
Yeah.
It's like I have to get them out of this. I have to turn this.
You're trying to change their emotions.
I have to turn this around for both of us. I have to do this. I have to take her there. I have to.
Did you feel like that with your mom? Have to fix her emotions? Did she have like any kind of like? Does she like go crazy sometimes? Like get mad or get like? Did she have varying moods?
She was actually really good about that stuff. She wouldn't let any of that external stuff, that whatever was going down with her, if she was dealing with something, she'd go off and handle it on her own.
I just asked because my mother, I learned to be codependent on my mother's mood, like taking care of her emotions and making sure I adjusted my world because of her emotions. And I did that with Mandy too. Yeah. I don't do it anymore. So that's a little bit codependent, and that's why I'm asking the question, because if you're trying to change their emotions, that's a little bit codependent. Yeah. And so I just was curious.
No, it definitely makes sense if it comes out of that. Yeah. I think probably where it comes for me is knowing that I'm sort of in charge of the situation and where it goes.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is my... Yeah. On a broader sense, it could be a group of friends, you know what I mean? And you feel that when you're connecting all these friends, you feel like the responsibility is on you to get things back on track. With a relationship, most of the time, it's the guy who feels that sort of leadership role. Yeah. So I feel like it's my responsibility.
I think the guy gets a little... I think a lot of times, like, it's also a fear thing. Like, I don't like, like if she's having a bad emotion that's something that's going to make you lose her or she's going to be mad at you or something like that. And I've gotten pretty good at just letting people have their emotions. Mm-hmm. And I mean, my son... He's 10 now, but he used to throw these temper tantrums, and I'd say, go to your room, and when you have your temper tantrum, and when you can act nice and come up here, we can have a discussion, no harm, no foul, it's all gone. And he would just go downstairs, he'd throw his temper tantrum, he'd come up, and he'd say, hey, Dad, I'm good now. And I'm like, cool. Like, I never punished him for it. I mean, he's having a temper tantrum, right? Like, he's just having an emotional breakdown that he doesn't know how to handle. Yeah. My ex, though, she would just yell at him and chase him down the stairs and be like, what's your problem? What's your problem? What's your problem? And he would just get frustrated because she's like just needling him, trying to get out of him what's wrong, trying to fix it.
Yeah.
And adults have temper tantrums too. And this is why you're taking your attention away, because you're not going to reward that, but you're also giving them a chance just to be. Mm-hmm. Remember when Sydney took off the other day? She got mad at me because this girl, Joan, called me. She just left, broke up with me, and then she was back together with me. She was throwing a temper tantrum. That's what she's doing.
And you just had to let her go and sort it out.
Let her.
It's crazy because I figured this out long ago with friends. Friends come to you, they're having this problem with another friend or their boyfriend. Yeah. And you realize pretty early on that they're not coming to you to tell them what to do. They're coming to you because they just want to be.
Yeah, like you've said that to me, like when you were having some issues with a girl, like you've been like just talking to me, and I just want to listen because I know I can't fix it. Yeah. I can't be in your shoes. All I can do is hear what you have to say and be non-judgmental about the thing and be supportive and say, okay, I'm going to be with you, whatever you decide. Yeah. Even if I wouldn't do what you're going to do, I still will be your friend and help you through it. Right. Yeah. Too many people trying to fix people's problems that are you can't fix an emotional problem. It just doesn't. It's emotion. Right. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah. So you get the weekend back on track, and you guys ended up getting up to some.
We ended up partying hard on Sunday, and then there was a party down in the pool because I overlooked the pool from a balcony. There's parties. I can't. It's really loud, man. There's a grill there, and there's a grill and a whole setup inside the building, and they can have a kitchen access, and they can sign up for these big parties.
So it's a sound system coming from the building.
It's coming. I don't know. Well, there's some from the pool sometimes from the building, and there are people there. It is crazy. A ton of people. It's like party central, and I realize I'm in the perfect position because I can see them, and then. She was out there dancing and sort of like grinding up against me, and they see it, and they're like, they were sort of doing a party together where we're up on the balcony. And
dude, you know what we need to do? You should get some of those party lights, either the LEDs that go on your balcony, and like when those parties start going down and you're out there chilling on your patio, turn on your lights, and everybody looks up and they can see sort of like.
I thought about getting the
DJ
neon, like a neon thing, like lettering of something. Like I don't know what it would say, but
even just like. Flashing colorful lights, dude. I think they'd fucking.
I want to say something. I want to get like. I have to think about it. What I wanted to say. I don't know. I don't know if I wanted to say something about daddy or something like that. But
yeah.
And then I should get like the strobes up above. I think that would be cool.
Maybe a disco ball, fucking just like sending out sparkles across the pool.
That'd be cool.
Like something like that.
Should do it quick.
That'd be fun. Summer's here, man. We just hit the first day of summer yesterday.
This is
the start of it.
There was a balcony over there, like 3 people on it. We had the
above
windows.
You.
Yeah, there were windows wide open. You could see up. We ended up messing around, like
wide open curtains.
Wide open. There were people like, "Woo!"
You guys were getting nuts. It on.
We were partying hard. She was up dancing on the ottoman, like so everybody could see it. They're all like cheering her on.
This girl's wild, man.
Yeah, it was fun. We had a really good Sunday night, and I had a good day at Great America on Sunday with the kids too. Lucas finally got to ride the big rides. He's finally tall enough. And he went on, what's the Flight Deck?
Yeah.
You been on Flight Deck?
That's cool.
It's the first big roller coaster he's ever been on. And in the end, I see him. I was like, looking. He's like, I was so scared, but it was so fun.
Yeah.
He went on Drop Tower. A 10-year-old.
That's insane.
There were no other 10-year-olds going on Drop Tower.
I don't think so, no.
And he's like, it was terrifying, but it was so fun.
Yeah.
So I was proud of him. He went on everything. I think you really have to like with a son, especially as a dad, you have to tell them when you're proud of them, and because they're looking for approval from their dad. Huge. They want to be like you. They want to know that they're doing the right thing to become a man.
So what would you have done if he was saying, "I'm too scared, I don't want to"?
I'd have been fine with it. I'd been like, "Don't worry."
But is that what you say, or do you want to like sort of?
No, I would be like, I think I would say, "Hey, it's cool if you don't want to. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. If you want to try it, let me know, and we'll talk it through." I'm not going to make him feel bad. Really, there's not a lot of courage in getting on those rides anyway. People think they're courageous, but if you think about it, like there's so many safety systems on that ride. It isn't like you're in combat having to think about what you're doing. You jump out of a plane tandem. You got a person behind you that knows how to deal with line overs.
Yeah. It's just about crossing that first hurdle.
And then it's almost like, okay, fuck it, and just do it. And
it's like talking to girls, dude, when you're out there and you're thinking, oh, fuck, I'm going to get
rejected. I don't know, because like in a girl thing, you have to think and operate. When you're on a zip line, you just have to jump off.
Right.
And I thought about this because in Ryan Christensen's hypnosis thing, there was a guy talking about he went on a zip line, or he went to a zip line and he just couldn't do it. And the girl he was with,
man,
she was like, it's just a zip line. And it offended me a little bit because, first of all, it isn't that courageous that you went on, girl. It's just hold your breath and jump. It's really, you're not doing anything. And the other thing is, it's just a zip line. Oh, really? You know, the cable, like they had to engineer that cable to hold itself, to hold your weight, to be the right angle, to not get stuck. They had engineered these wheels. This pulley system is latched onto this cable, and it has to be able to slide and not be too tight and not come off.
I know.
Just to say it's just a zip line.
It's not, But like the fact of the matter was...
The safety factor on that thing makes it not courageous.
I know. Yeah. I know. It's impressive, but the fact of the matter is that you're out with a girl... And something's happening.
You just better do it.
No matter what's happened, even if it's something, whatever, the girl is losing attraction for you because
for sure
of your fear. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it may be misplaced because maybe in a situation like combat, he's perfectly great.
Yeah.
But you have to swallow your pride. If you're with a girl, I don't think it was a girlfriend or a girl he was dating, so I don't think it mattered.
Oh, so he didn't care that much. Oh, okay.
At the same time, if we went ziplining and you didn't want to go, I would expect that you would know I came out there to zipline and you wouldn't want me to leave. Yeah. And I would be like, hey, it's cool, dude. And you would go to the car, and I would still zip line, and I wouldn't feel bad about it because you didn't want to go. Whatever, I'll zip line. But I would be upset if you wanted to leave.
Right.
You know, I would be like, you could take the car and come back.
Fucking up everybody's.
Yeah, but you're not fucking up any. If somebody else is screwing up your day like that, you're screwing up your day by letting them screw up your day. So, I don't know. It's just. It sort of left a bad taste in my mouth when I read it's just a zip line because I'm just thinking about the engineering and the safety. And
so that guy does hypnosis, or he got hypnotized to get over those sort of.
I don't know the outcome of that. He's just in the group I'm in.
He's trying to be hypnotized.
Yeah, Ryan is doing this pilot. He's got it's 3 months, and he has a group, and you pay per month, and you have access to him, and you have access to the group, and then you get hypnotized once a month. Because what was happening is you get so much fix in these hypnosis sessions, you think you're fixed, and you don't realize you have other problems. So people would come in, pay him his money, and then be done. And I realize I got so many issues I need to untangle that I want this thing. And he's offering such a good discount right now. I think he's going to charge $3,000 a month when he puts it on full, and he's like $1,000 now. So
a month.
Yeah. So I feel like I got a really good deal out of it.
Yeah.
Because his sessions are $500, so I'm paying double what a session was, and I have access to his route, and he's doing webinars too. So he put on a webinar last Wednesday. It was fantastic.
Yeah,
I learned a lot from it. So I hope he does well.
You haven't done it in person yet, have you? You've done it a couple times.
It's all been virtual. Yeah, it was
probably hits a lot harder if you did it with the guy in the room.
I don't know, man. Like that first time I did it. Right afterward, I felt different. I couldn't put my finger on it, but my life got better immediately after doing that hypnosis session. And what happened is I did Ryan Christensen. What he told me, and I might mess this up, is he sort of changes your paradigm and how you think about things. And there's another gentleman I did it with. His name's Ryan Fowler, and he sort of gets rid of trash. So I had done 2 with Ryan Christensen to change these paradigms, but I still had some trash. And this guy. He helped me get rid of the junk, basically. So, I mean, I didn't intentionally do it that way. It just ended up being that way.
Yeah. So. It must be like mushrooms, though, where you do 2 grams and you get a lot out of it.
Yeah.
And then you go up to 4 and you realize, oh, no, this is what it's like. Right?
Yeah, it's like this is a real psychedelic.
Yeah.
Well, remember, like, talking about LSD. You do, like, 1 tab and you think you're doing LSD, but it takes 2 tabs to really do LSD. Sure. Yeah.
That's why I was so surprised and shocked that you can get... ketamine counseling now in a lot of the states.
Oh yeah, we should check that out because it's legal now, right?
It's $350 total. They send you ketamine in the mail.
Yeah.
You do it twice or 3 times.
And you have a therapy session too.
And you have a therapy session before and after.
That's really cool.
And you're covered. You know what I mean? It's fucking just easy access now.
I think I want to try that out. Even though I don't really like dissociatives, I think I want to give it a shot because I've heard it really
it's what I've heard too. You know.
I've had this shake lately. My hands have been shaky. Just all the time.
Yeah, I've had that since I was a kid.
I mean, like when I was picking this up, I noticed it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's a little.
I feel like Tom Hanks had Saving Private Ryan. No,
you know what I'd be worried about?
Shaky.
I'd be worried about being on a date and then the
her
girl
thinking
seeing
it's
me.
nerves and not like realizing it's just like a shake thing.
Because as a kid, I'd stick my hand out this or then the other, and I'd hear somebody say, my friend or just a stranger say, "Why does your hand shake like that?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People have a reaction when they see what they perceive as a weakness.
We should talk about Sydney because the nervousness in her voice today.
Oh,
that's the shakes. Because basically she was nervous, and you perceive
was that
things.
It?
Yeah, I'll tell you about it. But go ahead and tell me the hands.
Well,
thing.
no, that was that.
So you had that as a kid, and they would notice you.
No, yeah, I still have it. I've had it all along. It's not quite that.
Yeah,
severe.
well, this is exaggerating.
Right.
It's more like a. You see, it's just like a little bit.
No, I get you.
It's not even. You don't even really. It's not really even like vibrating.
Right.
It's just sort of.
Right. It's unsteady. It's.
Yeah, but I'm not like nervous at all. It's just.
I know.
I don't know.
But I've seen people's reactions to a kid, having some display of like,
of nerves,
a weakness or like something that's not normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people have a reaction to it.
Yeah.
So I can imagine being on a date and the girl you're with being extra observant and vigilant and calculating and seeing something like that. That's what I'd be more worried about.
Yeah, I think if you're on the nerves, let's say you do have nerves, and this isn't really what you're saying is if you don't actually have nerves, but they're perceiving you because
you may as well have nerves because they're perceiving you that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think I have nerves right now, though?
No,
Even
no.
If, like, so I wonder if you're confident enough, if it doesn't matter that you have a shake. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a little bit of a signal.
I think it totally, it can cover it up because they wouldn't even notice it.
Yeah.
You know, maybe just when you're pouring a glass of wine or something,
Yeah.
and then if they mention it, you could. If it's something unrelated and it's totally not nerves, I'd even just go as far as to say like,
yeah.
Oh, it's.
You can also call it out. You can be like, yeah, I got a little bit of a twitch.
Exactly. That's what I'd go
I
ahead
found
and
out
say.
calling out things, just not being self-deprecating, but just calling them out, like it helps a lot.
Yeah.
Like even if you were in a situation where you were nervous, say, I'm a little bit nervous, and it makes it almost go away because you're sort of acknowledging the big elephant in the room.
Yeah.
And you're owning it, and you're not ashamed of it. And you're just saying, oh, wow, I'm a little bit nervous. And, and it helps, I think.
It definitely, at least I think, puts you a step ahead of somebody who's trying to contain it and is just trying to hide it and cover it up, you know?
Well, I think we all are scared at points in time, so we understand. If you empathize, you know?
And it's weird how it goes. I remember one time in class, I was going up to give a presentation, and I always had bad nerves going up to present to the class, right? And up I go. I hang up my fucking diagrams.
Yeah.
And I start talking about, I forget exactly what it was, something to do with psychedelics, right?
Yeah.
Teacher stops me.
Wait, where's this, in university?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Teacher stops me.
Yeah.
Says, I'm sorry, I can't let this go any further.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this later.
Oh, shit.
But as soon as that happened,
yeah,
I was totally calm. As soon as, because I was afraid of not only going up there and presenting, but I was afraid because my subject matter was a little controversial, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as soon as it was called out, I was totally calm.
But they wouldn't let you continue it then?
No, but I even stood up there and say, even if you don't give me a grade, can I just stay up here and present this information?
They didn't like the psychedelics.
They didn't like it.
Ah,
so,
okay. It wasn't the fact you were nervous. It was
No. It was a psychedelics thing.
I know how you feel. I've had that type of thing happen.
And it's
for sure.
it's curious because as soon as you get past that hump,
yeah, it's great.
It's like everything leaves your body,
Exactly.
and I'm just totally calm, and I can even stay up there longer than I need to and try to get past it. And
it's like when I was in there and I said, wow, I'm doing the second podcast. I'm a little bit nervous. And as soon as we were rolling, it's like, all right, I feel fine.
It goes. Yeah.
It's like, you know what'll happen to me with girls sometimes? I'll talk to them and I'll feel fine, and all of a sudden nerves will come up like later. Like they'll be fine, and then all of a sudden they'll hit, and I'll be like, fuck, what the?
Yeah.
Why is that? Why didn't it hit right away? Why was I just fine? Like, hey, what's up? You know, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you know, you can feel the nerves in your voice, and I don't know. It's sort of strange. All right. God, I wish I could remember that movie.
It'll come to us at some point. We'll see.
It was funny because it came out of somebody else's mouth.
They were definitely quoting Matthew McConaughey, though, I'm sure.
Yeah, they probably don't even know the Doors. I don't know. It seemed like they got it from the Doors. I don't know.
You think it was pre-Dazed and Confused? Early
No,
90s?
it wasn't. No, I think they would have known about the Doors.
Okay.
I can't remember what it was.
Now I'm curious, too.
Yeah, I'll have to think about it. But
you sent flowers to your girlfriend.
I did.
Today?
Well, it's her first day back at work.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Big delivery comes in. I saw the pictures. Big delivery. Fucking big bouquet.
Oh, God, yeah. So that led me, the whole thing about that's what I was wanting to talk about. Yeah. So she calls me up to thank me, and her voice was really shaky. I mean, extremely. I've never heard of that shaky. And I was thinking my immediate thought was the interesting part of it, because I was like, what's she covering? I was like, what's she covering up? What's the other side of this? What's going on? Like, I just know people. Like, let me preface this a little bit. I told Sydney I was having a conversation with her, and I was like, come on. I said, guys approach you all the time. You're good looking. You're at the gas station. She's like, no, where? I'm not out anywhere. I go, you go to the gas station, you go to the grocery store, you go. And then the point was proved, and she said no. And I was like, whatever. You know, I don't believe you anyway. You know, and it wasn't like mean-spirited. She knows I don't believe those conversations, and I make it known I don't believe it, but I also don't hound her. I'm like, whatever you say, I'm not going to believe you. So we went to the pool on Memorial Day, and her and her friend, they went out. We went to get beer, and then they got dressed, and then they told us they were going down. And within like 2 minutes of being down, she calls me. She's like, these guys came over and invited us to a party. And I was like, it was like the 2 minutes. It wasn't any time at all. And then we were out at the pool, and it was obvious she was my girl, and she was into me. And still, I come back up here for a few minutes, go back out, and there's already a guy trying to talk to her. And it's a weird situation because I would never do that because I don't know what the other person's capable of. And a lot of people don't know how to handle that situation. I just walked up to the guy in like a strong frame, and I was like, "What's up?"
He was still there when you walked up.
Yeah, I sort of alphaed him a little bit because I walked up and I was like, "What's up?" And I ignored his existence, and Sydney ignored him too. It was like,
and he
just finally got up and left.
Yeah.
But it's actually, if you can't think about it, you just have to handle it, and you don't want to get in a fight. You don't want to challenge the guy. Like, you don't want to challenge him in a way that comes off as, you want to make sure when you're doing the challenge that it's in a way that makes him look bad if he gets aggressive. So that's the trick.
Yeah.
And I've sort of gotten good at that trick because I realized, like, the cuter girls I've dated, the more cute they get, the more guys try to test me all the freaking time. It's amazing the number of tests that guys try to put out. And I find it to be a really low value move because most guys hold that sex that she's given him sacred because they don't really feel like they could just get it and replace it. So my feeling is, as long as she's not flirting back, then I'm going to handle the situation in a way that isn't violent, but it shows that I will be violent if I need to. If she's flirting back, then I'm gone. I'm out the door. Mm. So, and I'm not going to even feel bad about it. I'm just going to leave. I'm not going to say anything.
Either way,
yeah.
Whether she's flirting or not, it's no skin off your sack. You're good.
Yeah, exactly. I can handle either situation.
Right.
And she knows I would do that. So she doesn't do that. And so anyway, back to that. So I tell her later, I go, so no guys ever approach you, right? She knows she's, it's proof's in the pudding, right? There it is. She's like, well, I don't count it if I don't talk back to him. And I was like, oh, really? You don't count it? I said, so the question is, how many guys talk to you on a regular basis when you're out at stores and things? Does it happen a lot? And she's like, yeah, it happens a lot. It's like, so you're a liar. And she's like, no, well, I was like, don't even. I said, no, don't. I'm not even mad. I'm just like, no, we're not even having this conversation because I already knew it, and I didn't believe you the first time. So when somebody is doing something out of character, I'm like, what's going on there? So immediately I thought, wonder if she's banging somebody at the office and the roses threw it off, you know, that kind of thing. That's my immediate thought too. Like, why is she nervous? I've never heard her this nervous before. So I think it's good. You have to I don't know how to moderate it yet. Like, how do I told you remember, like I said, if your girl goes to spring break, whether you trust her or not is not relevant because you're always going to doubt the truth when she comes back because you know good and well a girl can go down there, bang a hot guy, and in her own head say, well, it was just it was nothing. It meant nothing. Yeah. Or it was, it was in spring break. It didn't count. You know good and well she could compartmentalize that and come back and just look at you and say, no, nothing happened.
Yeah.
And believe it herself.
Absolutely. But I think the thing that matters even more is what she's willing to do. So if she's even willing to go to spring break in the first place, that says more, I think.
That's her respect level for you
too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think ideally you'd want to be in a situation where maybe if that were to happen again, your first instinct would be, wow, I'm so great, and she views me as such a valuable person in her life that I'm having this effect on her by just doing something small like sending her flowers.
Yeah.
I guess, would you rather that be the reaction you get?
I think that I really believe it was probably a wow. Like, she's never had flowers sent to her office before. It was just unexpected. I think it was more of a nerves because she just was excited.
Yeah.
There's always that underlying, though,
Sure.
that I think first about because I've just had so much experience with dating. I've talked to so many girls, and not judge them, and I know what they're capable of.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a girl, sleep with me. She's texting her boyfriend.
In the bed
she's trying to patch it up with, and she's supposed to go over there after being at my place.
Wow.
Sleeps with me, no condom, just.
She's all over her.
She's like 19. She goes back to her boyfriend's place right after, or her ex-boyfriend who she's trying to patch it up with right after being with me.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everybody's like that, but I know
it's
what
out
people
there
are
and
capable
it happens.
of.
So
yeah.
You got to cover your bases. But
and she told me she's texting him, and I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
So
But you just fucking rolled with it. You didn't make anything out of it. You might
no, it wasn't. I wasn't even judging her about it. I'm just saying I know what the capabilities are. Is all.
Yeah. You're just prepared for every outcome, but you don't let it fucking fuck up your situation and affect what you got.
Yeah, I mean, if that was really happening, I'd be like, well, I mean, what I think I said this because I don't really buy gifts that often. Uh-huh. I think that and I don't really like to do gifts on like required days, like Valentine's. I never would send a gift.
She got you a pretty sweet gift for Father's Day. Would you get her a sweet gift for Mother's Day at that point? Before you got her gift, would you have done it if it had been Mother's Day instead?
I don't know.
But you would do it now because
I don't know. I'm not a really reciprocal. I want to give a gift because I want to give a gift.
Right.
I'd rather just find something out that I see that reminds me of something
and just get it
of a person, not even a girl that I'm seeing, but just this is what they would want.
Yeah.
And it's it doesn't even have to be expensive. Like the first thing I ever got Sydney, she said she wanted a flask, and I was just at Bevmo and I saw a flask, so I just got her a flask, and she loved that.
Party girl wants to walk around, drink on the go.
But I remember I bought her those shoes. I just was like, I felt like buying her shoes. I said, hey, why don't you go to the mall and get some shoes? And I bought her some nice shoes. And I said, we were talking, and I said, when you give a gift, I think you have to be willing to give it and think, what would happen? How would I feel if she just left right after I gave it to her?
Yeah.
Is that okay? And that's how you know if the gift is okay. Because you don't want to buy attention. You just want to give somebody a gift just to give.
Right.
Right. So like if I'd sent that, I mean, would I feel like a punk if I had sent those and that had happened?
Would you have thought anything different if you knew she got the flowers, but you just never got a call until like when you regularly speak later that day? Does that give you any different impression?
No, I knew she was going to call, so I can't really answer that. I would like to say I wouldn't, but I think I probably would be like.
I think anybody would be a little affected.
Like, why is she calling?
I get a call?
Yeah. People do have things going on in their life, though.
That's true.
Like you had some stuff go this weekend, right? Like people have stuff going on, so sometimes you don't know. You can't just assume.
Yeah.
Like her sisters, when they were judging her about this Saturday, they didn't understand that she was really trying to get there on Sunday.
Yeah.
And they just wanted, to use her as a punching bag.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's the thing. Like, if your girl, I feel like if my girl's like, I'm going to go to Vegas. I feel like she doesn't. It's not the fact of going. It's not a trust thing. It's what is the perception of me if somebody I call my girlfriend is willing to go to Vegas. What does she think? Does she really care about my reputation? Does she respect me enough to care about my reputation? Because if she's willing to go to Vegas, and that's going to hurt my reputation. I mean, what would you think if I was like still called her my girlfriend after she went to Vegas and got back? Like,
it would be curious.
You'd be like, what about my men's group? Like, how would they would take it, or how would they perceive it? And I'm not saying I have to do it because somebody else perceives it that way, but I would perceive it that way.
Sure.
So, there's like different layers to this stuff. I feel like. But I wouldn't feel bad about myself if that happened. I would just be like, oh, her loss. Be done.
You got to be prepared for anything.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, brother.
One guy, John, told me one time, said, always imagine when your girl's away, she's just got something in her mouth. Just when she's out of sight, she's got something in her mouth. And when it happens, it dulls the impact. It dulls the impact a little bit.
It's good to walk around prepared, but you don't want it to feed your paranoia, and all of a sudden you're asking like questions popping off. Yeah. What were you doing? This, that, and the other. If you can be cool in all situations, when you're concerned about it, when you're afraid it's happening, then I think
for sure
you're set within.
I mean, you really have to be like internally cool. And I was just thinking about so if you look at back when I was dating Harsh, right?
Sure.
Right. We weren't together, but we pretty much were acting as girlfriend and boyfriend. Like we saw each other enough. I think you would say that if you saw how much we interacted.
Sure.
It wasn't that. So like with her, I would just assume she was sleeping with another guy when she wasn't with me.
Yeah.
Or anybody I've dated. I just sort of assume that way it doesn't.
Yeah, or if she said she was going off to Vegas, it doesn't.
It doesn't matter.
The bounds haven't been set, so it's.
Well, I mean, I would revoke girlfriend title. I would still date somebody that went to Vegas, but the girlfriend adds another layer of I'm now showing people that we're together.
Yeah. It's like their security clearance gets like revoked.
It's like, yeah, now you're back to dating stuff.
Yeah. If you want to be there, it's your choice. Head out if you want to.
I think I didn't say that I would do that, but I told the story about the spring break thing to Sydney, and I used the same language, so she knows. A roundabout told her.
Yeah,
that's what's going to happen if that does happen. Because she had talked about going. She tests me though. That's the interesting thing.
To get a reaction out of you.
She tries to get a reaction. She never plans on going because she knows she wouldn't do that to me. But she'll test me to see what I'll say about it. And this time I've been like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
Just to see what happens.
Yeah. So, I failed one of those shit tests in recent memory. I want to talk about those next week. About shit tests.
Is that the one you told me about?
I think it was. If you remember. It was a while back, but it stays with you, because you know.
Yeah,
you know
we all fail at some point, like.
Yeah.
Like I failed on the Ferrari, McLaren conversation. We can talk about that if you talk about failing tests.
Yeah, shit tests. That'll be the next topic. So, next week, we are back.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. All right.